Of this. Welcome back, sir.
Great. Thanks for having me back.
All right. Now, we don't know for sure, and we don't know that even if it was her, and even if she was prominent in this respect in unmasking people, we don't know that she was the only one. But talk about what we do know and what you wrote about on your blog.
Right. Well, what we know and what Eli Lake reported was that there was a suspicious pattern of requests for unmasking by Susan Rice. And we don't know all the details. And obviously, that's probably coming from the White House to Eli Lake. But that is very significant because all along, people have been saying there's nothing to Trump's tweet. There's nothing to the claim that he was surveilled in some manner. And what this suggests is that while there may not necessarily have been anything illegal about Susan Rice making those requests, given her background, given how she was put out as the point person to spread the lie about the Benghazi video, that it was an attack based on a video, given her tattered history, I think that it's very, very suspicious. And it certainly warrants additional information, additional investigation. So I think what this all but guarantees is that there will be a dual-track investigation in Congress. On the one hand, any alleged collusion by the Trump campaign with Russia, of which there's been no proof so far, but also the actions of the Obama administration. I don't see how the Obama administration does not now become a target of congressional investigation after this revelation.
Right, and these people cannot claim executive privilege anymore. They're not in the, and could you correct me if I'm wrong, because they're not in the administration. I don't know if they could, if any of the immunity that so many of these, and I don't know if Susan Rice got it, I know a lot of Hillary staffers got it, but if one of them were involved and they had gotten immunity in a separate investigation, I don't know if that would apply here. You could answer that to me too. And I don't know that she could be held legally culpable for saying in public that she knows nothing about this, the Nunes allegations. And if it turns out she does, that's a lie. But again, I don't know that she's legally culpable. So address those three issues if you can.
Sure. I'm not familiar enough with the executive privilege. If it is a privilege, it's normally a privilege of the executive branch. So I would think the Trump administration could certainly waive it, but I don't know if there's been a court case or a ruling on when a former administration official who had that privilege at the time can keep it once leaving office. I just don't know the answer to that, but certainly it's not in the current White House's position to maintain that. What it means in terms of whether she did anything illegal, whether she was on public broadcasting 10 days ago saying that she knows nothing about whatever concerns the Congressman Nunes is reported to have, which seems very strange in light of these revelations because his concerns publicly have always been regarding unmasking. And if she were the one who was doing it or one of the people, hard to say I know nothing about it. And so I think that it really goes to her credibility. I agree with you. The fact that she might have lied on PBS doesn't necessarily make her culpable legally, but it goes again to the issue of a scandal and a cover-up.
Right.
And why would she say such a thing? She could have said during PBS, well, yes, there was unmasking. I was aware of it, but nothing improper took place. Instead, she says, I know nothing about this. So that raises more questions.
Well, you're not forgetting, I'm sure, when you talk about her honesty or her integrity, her talk show circuit on that Sunday after Benghazi, where she went out there and gave misinformation. I'm being kind by using that word to interviewer after interviewer after interviewer by saying it was a spontaneous event. So Susan Rice has a lot of problems. But you know what's interesting and very telling in his silence on all this? The Adam Schiff. And I used to think there was no place more unsafe than between Charles Schumer and a TV camera, but now it's Schiff and a TV camera. He went, I believe it was on Friday, and to the White House and looked at this information that Nunes had looked at. So he knows apparently everything Nunes knows. And interesting, he didn't hold one of those press conferences. He hasn't been on every show blabbling his mouth saying, there's nothing there. He's basically been quiet about it, which tells me, based on the kind of person he is, that there must be something there and he doesn't want to say anything.
That's right. He's complained about the process, that these should have been shared with the full committee first, not with Nunes alone. But of course, given what's developing, it's certainly understandable the White House would want to at least go to the Republican chairman first. But that's right. Schiff would have been on every Sunday talk show announcing he's seen it. While he can't disclose what's in there, there's no there. That would have been Adam Schiff, and he's been nowhere to be found since he viewed those documents.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about Gorsuch. This is a circus to watch Dianne Feinstein and Pat Leahy and others trash, and Schumer, forget Schumer, he's not on the committee, but he's out of control. Just trash a man who was in the majority 98% of the time, a man who's gotten every recommendation from every legal organization that makes recommendations, just because he wouldn't be specific on what he feels about abortion or that truck driver case. I mean, it's just ridiculous, and they're going to go to the mat on this. I think look, I don't care. I really don't, but I just think because one way or another, he's going to get it. And they started the nuclear option, so to me, it's fair play. But I just think they're setting themselves up for the next one to be even worse.
Well, that's exactly it. Because there is the threat of a filibuster, even though it's never been used on a single partisan basis. There was an example in history where both parties filibustered somebody. But because they are doing this, the filibuster has a moderating effect. A president understands that there's some necessity of nominating someone in the mainstream. And certainly any argument you could use against Gorsuch, you could have used multiple times over with regard to Elena Kagan or with regard to Sotomayor or with regard to a lot of different people. But there's been that moderating effect of a threat of a filibuster. That's not going to be there anymore if Chuck Schumer gets his way. So Gorsuch is going to be approved. But what it means is that it's wide open for Trump to nominate almost anyone he wants the next go-round. And that might be to replace Justice Ginsburg or Justice Breyer or Justice Kennedy. So I think the Democrats are going to come to regret this, much as they now regret what Harry Reid did with regard to the lower courts.
Absolutely. They started it, and now they're going to suffer the consequences. I thank you, Professor William Jacobson. As always, great to talk to you, sir. Yeah, folks, this is amazing. This should be the lead on every newscast in America, on every cable show in America, as it was on this one. Susan Rice's possible involvement here, according to sources, in this unmasking of American civilians. But